On in, true crime enthusiasts. Welcome to WG69 Crime Stories. If you are with me, I appreciate you. Come on in. Thank you so much. I wanted to go live here, and I'm going to be calling this series that I'm going to be doing On the Road with True Crimes. I'm your host, WG69. And so I do a lot of my best thinking and even conversations when I'm alone and by myself, but definitely when I'm on the road. I do it in a safe manner for sure, but I definitely have a lot to say and get a lot of thoughts. You know, when you're by yourself and sometimes you're on the road and it's clear, it's just a good time to kind of ponder. So I thought I'd do a series where I create a playlist actually where I talk about different crime stories while I'm on the road. Now, for safety reasons, I won't be talking with the camera pointing to myself. This is not that kind of channel anyway, but I definitely want to make sure that I'm not holding the phone in my hand. So if you're worried about that, that's not the case. I have it propped up a bit mounted, and all eyes are on the road. I'm a safe driver. So anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys this morning about a case that I've covered. At least I've had several shorts on this channel about Luigi Mangione. Luigi, as you know or may know, is the we'll use the words alleged and we'll use the word suspect and all of that, but Luigi Mangione is the person who is accused of unaliving the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson back, I think it was about a month ago now. So back December 4th 2024. We're in 2025 now. So he's accused of this, and there is so much fascination with this case, and I want to talk about that because, as you know, for much of this channel, we've talked about wackalicious, as I call him, Wade Wilson. Now, Wade is somebody who unalived and is serving time now, actually on death row, but is serving time for the unaliving of two beautiful, beloved women in Cape Coral, Florida, back in 2019, and he's faced justice this year, as much justice as is possible this year last year, 2024. But there was so much fascination with the Wade Wilson case. Women were fangirling out about him, saying that he was so gorgeous. And I do see some parallels in the stories about Luigi Mangione. And so I started to wonder, are we doing the same thing? Do we just go crazy over someone, even if they're accused or found guilty of a crime? Are we fangirling or fanboying or fan-peopling out about a person just because they're gorgeous? I mean, let's face it, people, no matter how they look, can unalive, can rob, can steal, can and often do, no matter how gorgeous or not gorgeous they are. So let's just stop that. But I wanted to talk about it because I was actually watching, and I haven't seen the entire movie, but I was watching a movie on Tubi. Don't remember the name, but it was one of the first things that popped up when I flipped onto it. I hadn't turned on Tubi or watched Tubi in a while. Tubi is what I'm saying. And so, you know, I hear that there's a craze for Tubi, so I said, let me just check it out, see what's on that network. So anyway, got the app on my television, started watching it, and one of the interesting things that I saw in the show, and you guys go over and check it out, I'm not getting any pay out of it or anything like that, but you guys can check it out. It is interesting that the coverage was really about how much people are enamored with this guy's looks. But I also watched it and wanted to see more about why he did it. If he did it. Again, he's not convicted yet, so we have to say alleged and suspect and all of those things. But if he did it, shout out to OJ. No shout out to OJ. No, not at all. But if he did it, then why? Now, I know that on the surface, we know that we've been told, we don't know yet because he hasn't been convicted, but we've been told on the surface that he had back issues. He had some problems with his health himself. He's a wealthy person, but he seemed to also be, from a very young age, even in college, and if you look at some of his social media, seemed to be someone who was very grounded and connected from a community perspective, really had ambitions of wanting to change the world and make things better for people. And somehow, you know, in an indirect way, this situation has gotten people talking. I'm sure this is probably not what his peers, mentors, parents expected of him. And they're certainly not proud of it, I would assume. But in some ways, this is interesting, an interesting way of things kind of playing out and getting people talking. I do not advocate in any way, in any form, violence at all. So I want to put that out there right away because I don't want anybody getting the wrong impression. I just think this is a very intriguing and interesting case because some of the points that were brought up were around, in this country, having healthcare is hard. You know, if you lose or not having it is hard. If you lose your employment, then it can impact, you know, whether or not you have great healthcare. And if you are not employed, yeah, there's the systems and the marketplaces out there, but it still does cost you some money. And even if it's absolutely free, does that determine the level of care that you get? You know, and think about this. There's so many people at this point in time who are losing their jobs. The end of the year, every year, many companies cut back. And so some people lose their jobs. So when you're going through a situation where you're not employed or you're losing your job, and maybe you have some pre-existing situations, it could cause anxiety. It could cause people to be afraid, fearful. Now, I don't think in the case, and I'm going to come back to that point, I don't think in the case of Luigi Mangione that, according to his family's wealth category, I don't think that he may have thought, well, I can't afford health care. Again, I think it's a layered story. It's very complex. It's very intriguing, as I said. I think because of his back issues, his father was a millionaire, kind of started the family's wealth profile. His mom and dad, I think the documentary said they are probably minimum worth about $2 million, something like that. So he stood to inherit a lot, and he certainly makes more income, at least from the family's perspective, than a lot of us do. People that are in the middle class, lower middle class, people that are poor. So we'd love to have $2 million to help us out. So I don't think that was, I don't look at that as motivation in his specific case. I think that he had a slant toward public policy, which I think he could have been used in a different way. And also, he wanted to make a name for himself. Again, I don't know where he kind of fell off the wagon or what changed, because based on what I've learned in the portion of the documentary that I saw, about 9 months ago, about 9 months ago, his family lost contact with him, or his family and friends lost contact with him. They've been reaching out to him. So something happened. He kind of went dark at that point. So investigators are probably still trying to piece that all together. What happened? What happened? Back in November of 2024, after not hearing from him for some time, I think his mother or his parents in general, but I think the mom filed a missing persons report because she hadn't heard from him in some time. So this story is very intriguing. I definitely will be covering other videos, creating other videos on this, but I wanted to kind of kick our On the Road with True Crimes playlist and series off, just because this is just a great time for us to get together, to reflect. And even if you catch this in the catch this later, then that's fine. I just wanted to kind of start things off. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new here. If you are a WG69 True Crimes, Crime Stories, Crime Squad person, meaning you've been here with me for a while, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. The other thing I wanted to say about this case is that there are so many people who look at Luigi's situation and think, you know, this is a smart guy, 27-year-old now, smart guy, had it all together. He's very relatable. Maybe they're not looking at him from the perspective that he has 6-pack, 8-pack abs, body, heavy strong features, and attractive overall young guy. Maybe they're looking at it from the relatable stance that they too have healthcare concerns, healthcare issues, and that this is maybe finally somebody who is standing up for them. And I think that's part of the popularity, because there were actually people out boycotting and had signs at the jail, free Luigi, let him out, let him go, thinking that, or feeling like he's a martyr for them. And so I don't advocate for anybody taking someone's life. I think there are a couple sides to the story, and to me, honestly, I do think it's tragic that with so much talent, that there isn't another way that he could have released channeled his thoughts and his desires to make improvements in this country. But I also look at the other interesting thing, which I said about Wade Wilson earlier, is that people physically size you up. They look at you and they go, oh wow, he is hot potatoes. He is gorgeous. He is a nice looking person, and they truly want to connect with him. If you go over to the TikTok, as I call it, when you go on over to the TikTok down there, you'll see that there are pages and pages dedicated to him. Gen Zers and probably millennials and Xers as well, fangirling out about how hot is their word, how hot he looks, how gorgeous he is. Yeah, but at the end of the day, think about it. Is this something that you would have done yourself? Would you have put yourself in the same exact shoes as Luigi? Most of us would say no. Most of us would not, I would assume, would not go out and do something like this to get attention, no matter how great you look or not. So I don't want to encourage that behavior. People make their own choices. They do what they want to. But just know that whatever you do, whatever choices you make, there are consequences. So let's not convict anyone until he or she is given a fair opportunity to defend themselves, the right to a fair trial amongst their peers. But let's also not encourage any copycats in this situation or people to do this themselves. All right, so that is really all I wanted to say in this initial On the Road with True Crimes series that I'm doing. I'll be back with others. My phone seems to be dropping a little bit, but I'll be back with others, and I definitely appreciate your time spending with me. I may do this on Saturdays, so that we do it on a set schedule so that you guys can kind of be expecting it at a certain time. I'm not sure, but I'll post something on the channel, and I'll let you guys know. Thank you so much, True Crime enthusiasts, the Crime Squad. I appreciate you. Remember to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.